What is up, everyone? Good morning. We are live and ready to go yet again. And yeah, let's figure out what the heck we got going on price action wise. Good morning, Martin. Dude, I always think about saying good morning, Vietnam when I get on the stream. Good morning, Vietnam. That's classic. Good morning, Paul. Julian. Michael, youngster, good morning. We are pulling back, pardon me, from that high that we hit yesterday. In the gap. We'll see if the market wants to go fill that. But now we got yesterday's high above us. And yesterday's low, we're right in the middle of that. Good morning, George. Good morning, Yamaha and Ron. Yes, it is Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans, for your service. Sincerely. Yamaha asking, is it even worth trading today? That's actually a great question. Probably not, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's not likely to be a lot of activity. Now, I'm still going to get on. I'm going to see what happens at the bell within the first hour or two. We will know layout of the land, if it is worth trading or not. I would generally think probably not. So, give it an hour or two, and if the market hasn't moved much, if it's chopping around, yeah, then probably your best bet would be to walk away for the day. Good morning, Tom. Yeah, it's where I agree, Tom. It's worth watching. It's worth showing up to for sure. There are some bank holidays that do well, and there are some that don't. So, again, that's why I would say after a couple hours, you'll know. At 11:30 market time, it's gonna be obvious whether it's worth trading or not. But aside from that news, we don't have any. Sorry, aside from the holiday, we don't have any scheduled news. No earnings to speak of, so there's really little to move the market today. We have about 20 seconds now till the market open. And yeah, again, not much to to say on ES. We're right between yesterday's high and low. It would be pretty surprising if we made any progress above or below that. I think more than likely we'll be between those levels. Market's open there. And we don't have any trends currently either. We had this little downtrend. Had a break, had a new low, so we would expect a bounce. And we'll kind of see where that goes. We do have that gap above us, so if we do break yesterday's high, we're very likely to run to 68.84. And here in a second, we'll take a look at the Nasdaq. See what's going on over there. We also have a gap above. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the exact same scenario. We got yesterday's high above. Yesterday's low below. We got a gap on either side of us, and we'll see if the market has any juice to fill either of those gaps and get some decent movement. Downtrend on Nasdaq also looks played out, I think. Yeah, we had a little break, new low already. Nasdaq still bouncing, and we might have an uptrend developing here. We're watching for that. ES pausing a little bit at the EMA. Also looks like we have kind of a choppy uptrend developing, but this may have already played out if we draw it really tight. So kind of waiting to see which of those gets confirmed. Bill, good morning to you. started to dip down below the EMA and then recovered really nicely. So we're already starting to see buyers defending this area. Now we could consider a second entry long here. We do have a little bit of an uptrend. We are getting some support at the EMA. It's just really choppy. I don't know that it's worth taking the risk on. Good morning, gaming. Good morning, Pete. It's good to see y'all. So yeah, I'm probably not going to stick my neck out on this one. Not worth it yet. I want to give the market a little bit of time to show what the bias is, show which side really does have control or not, if any. Good morning, Stephanie. Well, that second entry did play out there. The uptrend now complete. We had to move up, we had a break, we had a new high, so we would expect a correction. Already getting it. Boom, right on schedule. Same with the Nasdaq. So that is a good sign that price action is doing what we would expect it to do. So we will cross our fingers that it actually gets some momentum in a direction. Some more support at the EMA, but already, guys, we're getting some early signs that we may be in for a chop fest. Hate to say it, I don't want it to be true, but so far it's appearing that way. Good morning, Michael. AKA Squid, it looks like, by judging by that logo. The Squid's true name has been revealed. I thought you were a real squid this whole time. All right, let's see if the market can push down. Nasdaq looking a little bit more like it actually wants to push. I would take a double lower high here for a short if it sets up. Looking for a lower high on this next bar. See, it's got to touch the EMA. Cool. That's perfect. If this can turn around into a bearish hammer, we're going to take it. Come on, baby. Nice. There we go. See if it can close around here. S&P is kind of holding on the EMA. Ah. Shoot, did it already trigger? It already triggered. You know what? I don't like that the S&P is hovering at the EMA. I don't like how choppy it is. This could definitely work out, but I'd rather not risk it on this one. I'm gonna give the market a little bit more time. Yes. Starting to drop off a little bit. And that would have worked on NQ. So if you took it, likely already got the scalp right here. I already went for, what's that, like 15 points, something like that. It's a pretty solid scalp on the Nasdaq. NQ looks like it may even want to put in another lower high. S&P trading below the EMA. popping back above the 21. We don't really have any trends to go off. This is just looking like a big chop zone in here. Nice, Josh. Yes. I'm glad you got that. 10 points there on the Nasdaq. That was solid. Solid little scalp. And now we're just waiting for some sort of clear trend. We just really don't have it right here. Had an uptrend that played out, started to move down. That's not really following through. EMA is flat. Potential second entry short setting up on Nasdaq if the ES cooperates and starts dropping down, but it doesn't look like it is going to. If it does, though, we have this little downtrend. We got one leg of the pullback, one attempt lower. See if we can get one more leg and like a bearish bar right here. But again, the ES is going to have to start moving down. Right now it's drifting higher. Nasdaq also looking very range-like. And the S&P is now moving down. Looks like it wants to go test that overnight low area. Let's see if this breaks through. NQ already played out here. Had the move down, had a little break, had a new low. So we got to pause shorts there unless we end up getting some sort of wider channel, but way too early for that. Just know that it could be a possibility eventually. Would watch for something along these lines to see if that ever gets confirmed. But right now, just pausing, waiting. ES not looking like sellers want to push here. Mild support forming at the overnight low. Nice bullish bar, 4-minute support there on ES. That move down would certainly trap bears, that's for sure. NQ also putting in a higher low. I think I'm going to take this on a test if it closes nice. See if we can get a little pop. Of course, this has to end in a bullish hammer, otherwise I'm not going to take it. Nope. And the thought being there, of course, that we're at the bottom of this support and the downtrend has played out, so likely to get a little pop, but you got to have the right bars. All right, Nasdaq looking like it wants to make a new low. Yes. Oh, that was a pretty decent bar there. Kind of want to take this on a test for a pop. And a little too late. A little too late. But we are getting that pop. Yeah, that failed breakout on ES looked pretty nice, Archer. Glad you got that one. But now we find ourselves at the top of this range, and we will see if the buyers have enough juice to push this above that support, or that resistance rather. Or if we are just going to be straight up range bound, which I think is pretty likely. Still popping up here. And if we start making progress into that gap, again, we're very likely to come get the fill all the way up here at 68.84. Same on NQ, it's got that gap above. It's first got to get through this little resistance. S&P already did, but it's looking like the channel is broken. All right, looks like this uptrend already has a break new high. I'm not really interested in getting long. Got a little break here, new high, pushing back down. That's exactly how range days work. Could consider a double lower high here for the reversal play. We have not gotten one lower high though. Wow, instant push up off the EMA. Could we be setting up for a second entry long? Perhaps. However, we're still in this chop zone. So yeah, I think it's still best to wait here. Pete asking, do I see a fair value gap on NQ on the 2-minute? No, but I see one on the MNQ on the 4.5-minute chart. I tease, but I don't look for fair value gaps. I don't think there's any edge in trading those. ICT is a proven fraud, so I think it's kind of a waste of time to try to, yeah, I mean, there's hours and hours and hours of all that theory, but when it's coming from someone who has been proven fraud, probably better ways to spend your time. That would be my advice. You don't need them to be profitable. No double lower high set up here. All right. Well, this is definitely how a range behaves, guys. When you have these big steep moves like right here that all of a sudden whoop get reversed, and then another steep move right here that all of a sudden whoop gets reversed. That is quintessential range behavior. So now again, we're seeing a steep move. What do you think is the most likely outcome of this? If you said steep reversal, ding, 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 you are the grand prize winner. So be watching for that. Already we're seeing can't really trust trends too much. So I will be looking for an opportunity perhaps to buy down here. Whoa, that looks like news. Hold on. I gotta pull up Trade Exchange. And of course I don't freaking have it up right now. But that was a newsy looking move. Careful, this is an overshoot right here. This could bounce up. Unless it's news driven. The only thing I'm seeing is that the UK is suspending intelligence sharing with the US. That is an interesting development for sure. I don't know that that's what's behind this move, but that's all I'm seeing. Oh, here we go. Ah, okay. There is a meeting tonight to advance the government funding package for a floor vote, to start voting to end the shutdown. So all in all, I don't think anything super consequential news-wise. I think I'm going to take a little test long on NQ on the notion that we bounce here. As that has been the pattern. Only taking it on one contract, and we'll add to it if it confirms. If not, we'll cut it very quickly. There's the bounce. The problem is I don't really know how long it's going to bounce because we're back and forth. So I probably actually won't add to it. I think I'm just going to take a little scalp if I get it. Waiting to see if we can get up to the 21. Yeah, I'm not willing to see that whole bar go against me there. We'll take the scratch basically. If we get a higher low, I'll get back in on that. Yes, putting in a higher low. Now we've moved up a little bit too far for me to consider joining in on that. Should have trailed my bar below the close, but what are you gonna do? That's why we keep it at one contract and only add if it's really legit and confirming. Double, we might get a double higher low here on the S&P. I will take it. This bar turns bullish. I'm ready for it here. Forex Factory has economic releases, but it does not have a live up-to-date Squawk box. You do have to pay for that if you want that service. So yes, you can get general econ news and stuff, but if you want live up-to-date, the minute that everyone else is getting it news, you're gonna have to pay a subscription. They don't give that out for free. Hey, it's fine, guys. Geez, all of a sudden there's like this anti-news ticker. Like, fine, if you don't want it, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to get it. So if you don't feel like you need it, that's fine, man. I'm not trying to convince you. And yes, I watch charts too. That is primarily what I do, but it is important to know what's behind a move. I think like if all of a sudden the market's just tanking and you have no idea what the news is and you're like, well, I just watched the chart. Well, you're not gonna know if it's something that actually is substantial to have follow through, right? You can look and say, oh, that's fluff. That's likely to reverse. But anyway, I again, no one's forcing you to trade a news service. I'm sorry. I don't know why uh why we're all coming out on that right now, but it's fine. I enjoy it. I use it. If you want to too, that's great. If you don't, I don't care at all. That was a nice little second entry short there, Archer. I just hard for me to take a short that's bounced off support, right? It's the only problem with that one. Does look like we are challenging the low here. Probably will get to a new one. There's the drop. Very close to that new low. And on the Nasdaq, it's kind of starting to look like some sort of secondary downtrend is developing. So I'm watching this. Still too choppy, it's a little too early, I think, to trust this trend, but there's certainly an imbalance to the downside that is happening. Big bullish bar formed on ES there at support. Seeing if this reverses up over that bullish bar. Nope. But if we do get a higher low, I'm interested in taking this. We'll only take a really strong reversal bar here. And that ain't it. Over on NQ still looks like it needs to get a new low. Move down here. There's the break of the channel. Would still expect to get a new low, so might have one more push down. And so far I'd say that not too bad a price action for, you know, a bank holiday, a day when you'd expect really not much to happen. Yeah, not bad price action at all. We're starting to move a little bit. So getting that push on NQ. Again, looking at this possibility. Starting to look more and more legit. All right, we got one test trade here. Trying to see if this is a failed breakout. Again, we'll cut it very fast if we need to. We got a nice bullish bar after the downtrend played out right around that support area. This has got a good chance of bouncing. If we get a higher low, I will likely add to this. And then I'll also move my stop up. Yeah, not a good enough higher low to add. I will move this up a little bit. If it gets below there, likely to make another new low. Get one more push up. I'm gonna start trailing my stop. Do have a close above the EMA. The Nasdaq is not really joining though. Yeah, Nasdaq finding some resistance at the EMA, so we're gonna cut that before it gets out of hand. That's the whole idea of this test strategy, guys. Cut the losers quick, add to the winners. But you can see on NQ, that bearish bar right there coming off the EMA. All right, back in ES one more time. We got a nice bullish bar. And we're just going to take a quick scalp if we can get a burst up here. I'm not trying to hold on for some big move. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're talking. Nice. I'm going to take what we can get here. Not trying to be greedy on this very rangy back and forth kind of action. There we go. Nice little scalp. And again, just adding to winners, cutting the losers short, and green so far for the day. NQ finding a little bit more trouble there at the moving average, and yet again, watching the possibility of this larger downtrend develop. And that's what we will be monitoring throughout the rest of the day. So far it does look like some good price action. Yeah, I think we can continue to trade for a while unless this really slows down. It looks like today is going to be okay. So thanks for hanging out with me this morning. If you want to trade with me and the community the rest of the day, links below for the Discord. I hope you all have a wonderful trading day. Be safe out there, control your risk, and stack those wins. Take care, everyone.